Practice is complete. The Seattle Sounders have finished their prep work for tomorrow's game against Vancouver. And we heard from Brian Schmetzer and also Stefan Fry. And obviously the team is trying to find some answers. You know, when you're in this kind of bad form, how is it that you do you go too deep? How much do you change? How much is more psychological aspect of it? So we're going to hear from Stefan Fry. He had a really good point about, you know what, we got to keep our spirits high. And obviously, head coach Brian Schmetzer, we're going to go right there, is just going to talk about, hey, you know what, we got to play better. There were some good things, but there weren't a lot of good things after he did, the film study of the 2-1 loss to FC Austin. So here is Schmetzer and Stefan Fry.
Get some use out of that space.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about players gelling with each other, and I think there's two types of gelling. It's one knowing kind of like, what each other's tendencies are, and then the other one is just being able to lift each other up and getting certain responses out of players. Out of your teammates, how can you interact with them? That's kind of the one thing that I've been trying to. I saw that creeping against Houston, a somewhat of a frustrating game, and you see some frustration creep in on the field. That's they're really small little details. You throw up your hands. Do you give your teammate a clap? Because you do that 30 times in a match, it has some kind of, it accumulates to something, right? Either it accumulates into some negativity, or it accumulates into something positive where you encourage someone to keep going. And I think that's something that, for me, I've seen, and I'm trying to help the team out as much as I can. Most of the time they can't. Last game they couldn't hear me, so I'm screaming for no reason in the back. But when things are not going your way, you try to find things that can help you make that go your way, right? That's the journey we're on right now. We've been trying really hard, but some things just haven't really clicked here and there, so we're making small adjustments. We're trying to find, as teams or as an individual, little things that we can do better here and there, things we can add, whether it's communication and positivity, like I mentioned, and hopefully we can find solutions to our problems. It always has to be a basis for me, I think, of hard work and just trying to earn it every week, and I think that's been there, despite some positive results and sometimes some negative results.
So in terms of the efforts there and the mindset is there, it's just a matter of execution that's missing then?
Yeah, I mean, soccer is in that aspect a beautiful game, because it's not just play A, and then if you can perform it, then that's it. You've performed it well, end of story. Everything is fluid, everything changes. The game has a mind of its own. There's a flow to it. There's pressure that mounts. There's disappointment that creeps in. There's positivity that needs to come from somewhere. I think those are the little things at times when we sense some frustration, or maybe we need to get better at getting out of those holes of frustration. Those are all things you can learn, and then hopefully when you get into that similar situation, you can apply them. But it's not as clear cut as, follow path A, execute path A, succeed during path A, let's keep going path A. That's not how it works. That's why I think it's always important that throughout the year with the team you have to make many experiences, and mostly bad experiences for you to learn from, so that when you have those again down the road, hopefully you found a solution at that point, and then you can apply those.
Maz, whenever you're ready, why don't you start with Coach?
Hey, Coach, how was practice? Just,
Good. Sunny day, good spirits. They're in a good mood.
And then just in terms of obviously bounce back, is this a time you look for your leaders to say anything, or do they just know, they're professionals?
We had a pretty good film session yesterday. They all know the expectations. They set their own, bar as individuals, as a collective. They know where we need to be.
When you go back and watch the film of that game, do you find obviously you're very disappointed in the result, but did you find more positives going back and looking at it, or was it still pretty?
The goals we gave up, I didn't like. Thought we could have done better. And then, some of the stuff, was okay. Jeremiah, I mean, some of it was better than I thought it would be on the rewatch, but not by much. Who's ready to go? Yep. Anybody else on your list?
Well,
Kellen, no.
Yeah,
Raul, no. Ethan, no.
Saw Paul go back out here. Paul Rothrock.
Rothrock's back out. He's available.
How far is
With,
Raul away before we move on to injuries?
Getting closer. He'll be in full training next week. So that'll be good news, but we want to make sure that he completes X amount of full training. With games fast and furious, sometimes the training week looks different. There's not enough days where there's, push day, -4, -3. So we'll have to get him through a couple of those before we put him on the field.
All right, there it was, some B-roll. We always like to show you, give you the insight. That's what we do in terms of these practices and the games. And, you saw it, and then you heard from Brian Schmetzer and Stefan Fry, just in terms of, where does the team go next? In terms of the injury report, Brian Schmetzer said that Nuhu is ready to play. A little concerned, but he's better fit than he was. He saw some time, but again, Schmetzer's like, I know he wants to play, but coach is always going to be cautious, and clubs are, to protect their players. The other players really aren't ready or aren't going to feature. In terms of Paul Rothrock was out here. Kellen Rowe was out here. Raul Ruiz was actually practicing, with the first team, but Schmetzer said no, he'll practice full next week, and then we'll see if they, if he'll start or not. I'm not sure about that. I think they're really being cautious with that. But jumping back to the Vancouver game, you have two counter-attacking teams. What the Sounders have to do is when they do attack, when they do press up and get possession of the ball, that first pass, it has to be a penetrating, breaking the line pass, and that's something that they just haven't been doing. And that's something that Brian Schmetzer said, we have to do. We haven't done it well, and it's something we're going to need to do for them to get a victory against, a very good Vancouver Whitecaps team that, playing well, good form, and nothing would be better for them. Like, this is the ongoing thing, is to beat the Seattle Sounders, their Cascadia sports rivalry. For the CascadiaSports.net Sounder Report, I'm Osvita Mara.